Good morning, students. Now, today we will start the topic the EEIC, early years. Now, the EEIC set up its first trading post in Surat in 1609. Means the English East India Company set up its first trading post in Surat, that is in year 1609. Now, in 1615, Sir Thomas Roe arrived in India as the English ambassador to the court of Jahangir. So in year 1615, Sir Thomas Roe, he came to India as the English ambassador and he went to the court of Jahangir. He stayed till 1619 and received a royal firman which allowed the EEIC to set up more factories. Thus, apart from Surat, the English established factories and base at many other places. So, staying there, he received the title of Royal Foreman, and he was English East India Company was allowed to set up its more factories up to the other part of India other than Surat. Now, Western India brought, that is modern day Bharuch and Ahmedabad. South India, Mausolepatnam in 1611. So these are the places where they established their factories. Now, Eastern India, Balasore, Orissa, which is known as nowadays Odisha, in 1633, and Hooghly, Bengal in 1651. Now, fortified operational base in Madras, now known as Chennai, Bombay, now known as Mumbai, and Calcutta, now known as Kolkata. Now, Bombay, a group of islands, was under the control of the Portuguese. So in Bombay, there were a group of the islands which were under the control of Portuguese. Now, in May 1661, when British Prince Charles II married the Portuguese princess Catherine of Braganza, he got Bombay as Catherine's dowry from her father, King John IV of Portuguese. So in 1661, when British Prince Charles II, he was married to the Portuguese princess whose name was Catherine of Braganza, the Prince Charles was given these islands as dowry by the father, King John IV of the Portugal. Now, subsequently, the island of Bombay were given to English East India Company on lease for the sum of £10 per annum. So, in the same way, subsequently, the island of the Bombay, they were given on lease to East India Company for the sum of £10 per annum. Now, the struggle for power. The establishment of trading companies by various European powers in India resulted in fierce competition and rivalry. So, there was a rush for establishing trading companies by the various European powers, which resulted into the fierce competition and rivalry. Means there was a very harsh competition and even enmity. All of them wanted to earn maximum profit and attain a monopoly over trade. However, this was possible only when they were able to eliminate other rival companies. So, all of them were wanting to earn maximum profit from India and they were wanting monopoly in the trade. So, to attain the monopoly, they have to eliminate the rival companies. Means whoever are the rivals of these people, they have to remove those companies. Second, have control over the political power of the country which they had trade relations with. So further, the second point to get the maximum benefit in the monopoly is to get the control on the political power of the country on which they have their trading relation. Further, thus a struggle for greater colonial position started. By the 18th century, the British and French arose as two major powers. The Portuguese lost their monopoly over Indian trade and while the Dutch were defeated and turned towards the spice trade in the Indonesian islands. So what happened? So the struggle began for the greater colonial position by the 18th century, and British and French arose as the two major power at that time, while the Portuguese lost their monopoly in the Indian market, and Dutch were defeated and they moved towards the Indonesian island for the trade of the spices. Now, throughout the 17th and 18th century, English and French traditional rivals in Europe fought several wars in India whenever their political and economical ambitions clashed. So the traditional rivals of the Europe, that is European and England and French, they had their war throughout 17th and 18th century wherever their political economical ambition clashed or came in front of each other. Finally, by the middle of 18th century, the English were victorious, having outside the other European powers of Indian trade market. Finally, by the middle of 18th century, the English were victorious and they were able to throw out all the European powers out of the Indian trade market. Now, tomorrow I will begin with the Carnatic War.